Assalamualaikum. My name is Izal Akalil and today I will be presenting about my Banda Kota Tinggi building proposal, the Johor Gayung Academy. So a little bit about the introduction of this semester. We students are required to work with a general brief, which is the Johor Cultural Centre, which will form the base of our own brief construct that is derived from site studies, data, case studies, and also other resources. So firstly, I'll be talking about the issues. So there are two issues. The number one is that there is a lack of cultural appreciation, where the youth are more focused on modern day activities and they do not have any personal aspects that they can relate back to the history. Number two is there is an increase in crime rates per year in Kota Tinggi. This could be due to the lack of self-depending knowledge from the community and also lack of integrity from the crime doer. Now we will be talking about the objectives. So firstly, it is to create a firm bond between youth and history of Kota Tinggi, which ensures future generations are able to relate themselves back to their hometown history, not just on a cultural level, but also on a personal level. Number two is to enlighten the community about the importance of self-safety. This is to ensure the community is well prepared to defend themselves and also potentially reduce the crime rates in Kota Tinggi in the near future. Number three is the aim. So the aim of this building proposal is to revitalize and increase the cultural heritage value from the aspects of martial arts, specifically Silat Gayung, that has been practiced as self-defense since the days of Sultan Mahmud and Laksamana Bintan through the creation of a cultural academy in Kota Tinggi. Now we move on to SWOT analysis. So firstly, the strengths. The site acts as a transitional realm for passers-by and drivers that are heading to and from Banda Kota Tinggi. Next is that there is a presence of diverse recreational and also cultural activities around the site. For the weaknesses, spaces around the site are not well connected with each other and abandoned spaces are also scattered. And then, cultural is not displayed as a public identity and there is a mixture of building typologies around the site. Now for the opportunity, the site could be a place to reflect a certain culture which adds depth to the overall identity of Kota Tinggi. The site could act as an intersection point between surrounding functional spaces and also the buildings. Lastly, for the SWOT analysis is the threats, where the annual flood could cause blockage and rise in water levels at the site. And also illegal activities at abandoned areas could reduce the appeal of site and also the fading identity of Kota Tinggi. Now moving on to the culture which is Silat. So Silat is a well-known form of martial arts in Asia and its teachings is always based on in rules of three. For example, three elements invisible to the naked eye in Silat Gayung are the mind, the heart and also the senses. So a history of Silat Seni Gayung and Johor is that it is introduced in Taipei, which spread across Semenanjung Tanah Melayu, Singapore and Indonesian islands. Datuk Mir Abdul Rahman was given responsibility to teach Silat Gayung to the Signal Corps under Lieutenant Cole Pope at the Gulman Barracks in Singapore. And in 1941, Japan's attacks upon Pulau Sudong was defeated by Datuk Mir and 7 other noble warriors only by using their knowledge and bravery of Silat Seni Gayung. So during that time, Johor and Singapore shared maritime borders and was considered as one state. Now for the client, which is Persatuan Silat Seni Gayung Malaysia. They have a very famous quote which is Segayung, Sekendi, Seperigi, Seminum, Sejalan, Sejadi, Sedara, Sedaging, Sepadu, which has a very deep meaning that relates to one main attribute, which is unity. So what they focus on is the expansion of Silat Seni Gayung across the globe, the preservation of spiritual Malay martial arts for generations to come, Islamic teachings in Silat Seni Gayung, and also equality among everyone. Now for the building program, my target users are children to teenagers from ages 10 to 17 years. For the Sekolah Rendah category, the daily classes will be from Friday to Saturday, where the morning sessions will be from 9 am to 10 am and the evening sessions from 5 pm to 6 pm. For Sekolah Menengah category, which will be held from Sunday to Thursday, for the Form 1 and Form 2 students, the morning sessions will be from 9 am to 10 am, and for the Form 3 to Form 5 students, there will be an evening session from 5 pm to 6 pm. Now for the examinations, for students who have passed the Bengkong examinations, they will be gifted the certificate of examination pass. So there will be 2 periods of examinations during the first half of the year, which will be held end of February and May, and for the second half of the year, the end of August and also November. So this is the schedule for the examinations based on the categories. For Sekolah Rendah category will be held during a Saturday at 8 AM to 9 AM. Sekolah Menengah Form 1 and Form 2 students will be held on a Sunday from 8 AM to 9 AM. Sekolah Menengah from Form 3 to Form 5, it will be held on a Sunday from 4 PM to 5 PM. And these is the spaces based on the building program, where we have the entrance, which includes a lounge and reception counter, recreation spaces, which includes outdoor recreation area, indoor gayung hall, and also including sitting areas. And then there's the student preparation, which includes changing rooms and also locker rooms. There will be the food court, and then for tourists we have souvenir shops, a mini walkthrough gallery, and also a main gallery. For office spaces, we have reception counter, the membership office, staff office, manager's office, a meeting room, 2 discussion rooms, printing and filing room, and also a pantry. And as for others, we have the surah, we have the store, we have service risers, we have the user lift, we have the services lift, we have the refuse chamber, the loading bay, an attached single chamber TMB substation, a control room, an SSB room, and also the HHU room for the aircon system. Next, moving on to the precedent study, which is the Sports, Recreation and Culture Center of Park, which is designed by FP Architectura. The building identity features a forest of columns which serves to blur the boundaries of indoor and outdoor spaces, and there is a sloping landscape and pergola which creates a two-way projection towards and outwards from the building. As for site planning, the building acts as a doorway which links the urban context and also the natural space of the park, and blocks are separated by 2 courtyards, one which features recreational activities and another which features cultural activities. Now I'll be explaining about my concept, which is called the urban pivot. So everything is anchored by its center. As relatable as the body of a pussilat stands stable by its center of gravity, should a vast diversity of people be held together through architecture. The urban development can seem loose at times, but through a contextual response of surrounding typologies and local cultural activity, can architecture act as a force to tie together the community with its heritage. For the design approach, Kota Tinggi is rich with cultural diversity. We have the Astaka Budaya, which actively holds countless cultural activities for both locals and tourists. We also have the famous Lorong Seni, which promotes arts culture with colorful murals of iconic symbols and historical moments. From these 2 points of interest that I have chosen, I created a site intersection line which acts as a cultural datum. And from these datum lines, a structural urban grid will be created for the design process. Next is the context. As you can see, the highlighted blue regions are locations with high density of shop lots. Driven by local economy, it is common to see locals of Kota Tinggi to have small businesses, which results in the high number of shop lots. In order to create a form that would fit in the overall visual composition of Kota Tinggi development, I studied the general form of a typical shop lot, where sketches were made, and I attempted to dissect the form by visualizing the vertical and horizontal planes in the shop lot form. Then, based on the grids, simple blocks are placed in different directions, and some parts of the blocks are extruded and recessed to create a more dynamic view, a more dynamic form. And also I try integrating the vertical and horizontal planes in the form, which could mimic the form of a shop lot. And that is all for my presentation. Thank you.